Hi neighbors. Today has been better than yesterday. We're on day 4, I think. And this is workout number 2. I try my hardest, me being definitely not a morning person, try my hardest to get up early. Well, 6:30. Actually, my alarm went off this morning. It goes off at 6:45, except on Wednesdays. Bleh. And lately I've been getting up before my alarm, which is good. Bonus. I think my husband wakes up at like 5:15, 5, some god-awful time. And so sometimes that wakes me up. Most of the time it does not, thankfully. Today I slept until 6:45, and I've really been forcing myself to not hit the snooze button and go, and get up. If I start, even if I grab a book and read, a lot of times I can very easily fall back asleep. So I try my hardest to sit up at least. The mornings is when I try and do lists for the day if I haven't got them done the night before. What else do I do? Reading for the day. Sometimes I'll check. I'm the administrator of a couple pages on Facebook, so I'll check to see if there's anything there. I do not just go scroll randomly because I don't care. And I'm pretty sure, nobody in our family would even have any of that stuff, except that we're trying to get businesses going and stuff like that. That's the only reason we have social media at all. And then I need to start remembering to upload, like to Instagram or something, in the morning as well. It gets more complicated as the day goes on because our interwebs suck. They've changed, so the company that we go through has been doing fairly well. We don't usually have many problems with it. Now I'm going to think it's called HomeFi, HOMEFI. And it's kind of like, think Verizon Hotspot. Well, they've recently changed something on their end where all of our devices now recognize that as a hotspot and not as the internet. I know, not as a Wi-Fi, I guess. And so then our devices behave differently over that connection. My printer, I can't get my printer to connect through it anymore. And we've had this internet, for the last 2 years that we've lived in the camper. And I love it when you call a text and they're just like, well, it's on your end. It's not. Actually, it's not. Because our end doesn't magically start calling something a hotspot. Anyway, nothing much else. Doing a lot of reflecting today on, just friends my age or a little bit younger passing away, and definitely need to get up on that life insurance thing because I just can't even imagine not having, whomever passes away and not having the other person's income. Actually, let me rephrase that. I can imagine that. That's gonna suck really bad. Spider. So we need to get that done. Trying to squeeze a little bit more out of the old family budget, and we have to sit down tonight and figure out how much we're going to try and squeeze into my truck, and considering taking another job on the weekend. It's hard. I probably could just sew more. I don't know if I can do overtime hours or not, but it's a little harder just because of the location of the sewing machine is basically in my oldest bedroom. And yes, there's a point where I gotta do what I gotta do. There's also a point that I don't really want to be an asshole. Well, not in this instance. Most of the time I just don't mind. So, yeah. And then today I started, I don't know, yesterday, the day before, it's getting really, really hot in there. So, my husband went and did the math today, and I think we need 6 rolls of insulation. So that's like $650. Gotta do what we gotta do. It's gonna have to get done because none of us can function in there like all day long. The morning it's nice, you know, overnight it's nice, but trying to be in there working all day when you're just sweating, it literally is a sweatshop. It's uncomfortable, and can we deal with it? Of course, but it's not a fun work environment. What a pretty place. So we're gonna figure out how to come up with an extra $700. All of my chicken, puppy dogs, greenhouse. I'm gonna miss my greenhouse. I really am. I love that thing. We built it with our own 2 hands, and by 2 hands I mean 12 hands, because everybody here helped, and I'll have to remember to find the place where we took our handprints and take pictures of those before we leave. There's a beautiful breeze. There's my southerly. All that's gonna get covered up with houses, you know, if the freaking developers have their way. City doesn't care. It's kind of, I don't know. I think the state of Tennessee kind of looks at it like, oh my gosh, everybody wants to be here. That's great. We should just accommodate everybody. And they don't have a clue. I mean, it's like the southern border. You're not realizing that all of those people are causing other problems. And so people move from wherever to here. We did too. And then they're wondering why they don't have the same road structure as we do, you know, that they did back home. Well, that's because there's a lot more people here. And they weren't ready for it. So instead of trying to slow the growth and say, no, we're not building any more subdivisions, you know, if you can't find a place to live, then this place is not for you right now. They're just gonna keep trying to cram everybody in here. And in doing so, A, piss off the locals, which again, they don't care about. And B, you know, mutilate the land that needs to be left green and farmed and that sort of thing. Again, if you want to make a subdivision closer to town, I am 2 miles out of the city limits. And, well, let me rephrase that. Now, I'm 5 feet. 3 feet? That's the city limits now. And I talked to the local, I don't even know what he is. Anyway, one of the representatives locally for our county, our city, and he said that, I said, isn't this going to put a strain? They already can't find enough teachers in this town. There's always several openings available for teachers. And so I said, isn't this going to put a strain? You know, do they have enough classroom space here? Do they have enough teachers here? He said, oh, I talked to the administration and they want more kids. What? They can't find teachers for the kids they've got. Doesn't make sense. Politician crap. And then my 3rd child today spent time on the laser. He's pretty good at it. And we've come up with some really cool stuff that hopefully we'll take up with us. I don't know if I'm going up Wednesday or not. I've got a lot of stuff to sew, so I might bump it back a day or so. And it also depends on when my truck is going to be fixed. And he was in there lasering today. We've got some really cool, fun things that I'll let you know when we get them on their website. We'll do some more of that. He was going to town. Very excited. very awesome. Ugh. My house. I have a child who likes to fix vehicles. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the finish one before you start the next gene that I didn't have at his age either, give him that, but been developing over the years. And do I have it in every project? No, because there's a lot of times where I'll get into something and I don't know, it creatively it feels very forced if you finish it, or I don't have enough supplies and so I have to put it off to the side for a minute. I'm always running 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, 10 things. We're trying to fix that. And then, let's see, tomorrow the blackberries are, I can take you over there and show you them. We have blackberries that line the property all the way around, and we try and keep them back as far as possible. This year, we've cared a little bit less about the mowing of the perimeter and a little bit more about keeping the yard together. I think mowing is unnecessary. I don't like to do it. Anyway, so see if we can see my disgusting pokeweed. So this, my friends, ironweed. Ironweed. It hasn't flowered yet. I don't like it. Ragweed. Gross. More ironweed. Pokeweed, this big tall one, which I also find worthless. Raspberries. And then you can tell they've got whiteflies. I had whiteflies on all my roses. And then back in here, so all of this needs to get pushed back. And then I don't know if you can see them clear up there. There's my blackberries. Our blackberries kind of run, yeah, there's more in there. Our blackberries run in oh, this is what I do. See that? I've always called it OCD. I don't think that's what it is. I think Nicole says that she has ADHD tendencies. Rain Man was autistic. It's probably a little bit more of those types of things, but I see patterns. So if we go into a store and the tile on the floor is black and white checkered and there's a check out of pattern, it hurts my brains. My brains are like, but it's wrong. And so I can see patterns, and 4-leaf clovers break the pattern because all of the other ones are 3-leaf. And so then I look down. Again, I was just walking. I wasn't even standing there looking for them. I look down and I go, that one's wrong. So it looks wrong in my brain. So that's also why sometimes when I sew, it takes me longer than it should. I'm working on this. It takes me longer than I should because I need to get it right. Symmetrical. And if it's not symmetrical in my brain, I'm like, but that looks wrong. And a lot of times it doesn't really matter if it's an off, an 1/8 of an inch there, 1/8 of an inch here. But to my brain, it's really off. And my brain screams it's off. This is also why when my house is disorganized, it's like, it really bothers my brain. It's a screaming in my brain like, but this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong. So I'm trying to learn to write those things out, which I have done for years, and not just vomit all of them at once, because I have boys who are not good with that. I can walk through somewhere and pick out the 10 things that are wrong, and then my boys are staring at me like, but did you say something? Yes, I said fix those things. There's some one of the things you can do with your kids that we did, because again, I'm not picking on them, but boys are notorious for when you tell them that the ketchup is on the top left shelf of the refrigerator, and they can walk in and stare at the refrigerator for 5 minutes and be like, I don't see it, Mom. And I can walk over and reach in without even looking and say, see, top, right, side, refrigerator. It's right there. Right, told you. So when my kids were little, one of the things that I had them practice, take a little piece of paper, and when they're little, they'll just tell you they can't write it out. Have them sit down. If they're little, just sit there. If they're old enough to write, let them write. And you give them, the first time, give them 2-minute timer. And then at the end of 2 minutes, they need to write down everything that they have seen that's out of place. That will get their brain kind of working or used to noticing, hey, this is not where this belongs. This toy doesn't belong here. Somebody put their socks on the floor. Those don't go there. And if they can at least write down or tell you all of the things that are incorrect, it starts to get them to see, hey, this is not where this belongs. This is not where this goes. Also doing the directional thing about, we used to do it in school, and it was, the teacher had a picture of something and she would describe it and nobody could see it, but it was all words. And we would draw out what she was saying. Like, draw a square in the middle of your paper, put a triangle on top of it, stuff like that. And then when we were all done, it was great to compare, because then you could realize, hey, she said the same words to every student in here, and yet we've all come up with different answers, and that's okay. Too many kids want to only color the elephant gray because the teacher colored it gray, or I've only seen it a gray elephant. In fostering creativity in children, you color that elephant whatever color you want to. And then explain, elephants in real life are gray, but your elephant can be purple. Why? Because it's your elephant. It's what's coming out of your mind right now. If you want it to be purple, make it purple. If you want it to have yellow polka dots, make it have yellow polka dots. Foster that in children, because the creativity is being stifled in the education system today, and everybody wants their children, or the school wants all of the children to take orders, don't ask questions, do everything the same, stifle their creativity, and that way when they get older, they don't really have a problem with the government doing it to them. So, have a great day. 4-leaf clover. Problem is, I go press them and then never do anything with them. Gotta figure out what to do with them. See ya.